Chakritam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so we will just have one person to interact at the places where we need interaction. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Mataji's here. Okay, so this is the question, icebreaker question, energizer question. Speak your mind. Please share a happy incident and a challenging situation in your life. Any one, recent one. Anybody? Jagadish Mataji, Prema Mataji, Saras Mataji, Yashodamai Mataji. Anyone? Do you have anything to share just recently? If you have gone through something challenging, a difficult situation? Mataji.
Every day got challenging, Mataji.
Exactly. Yes, Mataji. Any highlights would you like, if it's not so confidential, to share?
Okay, challenging for me would be like getting up at 5 or 4:30, the alarm go off. Then I will tell myself, okay, never mind, must get up. But at least chant, in the morning, because I can only chant in the morning. That is very challenging for me because I will miss. Then I'll feel guilty, Then I will chant like 4 times, but then in the morning, afternoon,
So you break it up.
Yeah, and that it still like depends, because sometimes we have the mood, but every day can chant. And I also had managed to chant 16 rounds in the morning because it takes 2 hours. So if I start at 4:45, I finish at 6:45 or 7.
How many rounds, Mataji?
That will be 16, Mataji.
Jai, here you go.
Thank
Nice,
you.
Mataji. So this is spiritual anxiety. I would say it's not a incident. It's your spiritual anxiety. So spiritual anxiety is always purifying. Okay, so that's the determination and enthusiasm which is required. Okay, can we have one more person to share any material incident? You have happy incident, and you have challenging situation. Anything you can share, either one.
My happy incident was when I completed to read the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
I was on 1 year leave, and I just went back to work last October, 1st October. So during the 1 year break, I had 2 challenging. That was I fractured my wrist twice, the same wrist. So I was on POP for about 6 months. But that time we have started our Bhagavad Gita level 1, yes, level 1. So during that leave, I started to read this Bhagavad Gita as it is, and I managed to complete before I went back to work. That was challenging, but it was a happy incident.
Happy ending.
Yeah, it was happy ending. It was some mission accomplished, because I bought the book in Bangalore ISKCON in 2004. The intention to read was always there, but I never. The effort was effort. I've taken effort, but it did not materialize. It stopped 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages. So when the level 1 came up, I just grabbed the opportunity. So I've completed. So I really thank Krishna for that, for making me complete reading it. And I've started to read second round now during this Damodara month. So I started again. Yeah.
Wonderful. Very nice, Mataji. This is blessings in disguise.
Yeah.
Maybe Krishna knows, this child, I have to make her read.
Make me read, yes. It wasn't easy, it's challenging enough because I started my work. I have to wake up at 5. That also challenging. Come back home by 8. Take my shower, start put the light up the ghee lamp and start reading and chanting. It's all challenging, but it was a pleasant challenging. It's a pleasant challenging, yeah.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much for sharing, Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you so much to you, Mataji, as well, and all everyone in the group, in the team as well.
Thank you, Mataji. So let me just share one happy incident. I actually, we have to take certifications for our banking line. So we have to take lots of credit papers to keep us updated and being current. So this one particular paper, I failed 2 times. So third time I passed, I saw the result in office and I was like closing my eyes and peeping through my fingers. When I saw the passing, there's my Malay colleague next to me. I went and go and hit him because I was so happy. Aku pass, like that. So that
What
was.
exam was that, Mataji? What exam was that under the banking
Let
credit?
me try
CCP?
to recall. It's actually CCE, yeah,
CCE,
certified.
is it? Oh.
Yeah, certified. Certified credit executive. I think so.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the fourth paper, the
Which
last
bank?
paper.
Which bank are
RHB.
you in? You are in RHB. I'm in Maybank.
Oh, okay. What do you do, Mataji? What's your job?
Also credit. I'm also credit group risk under risk credit risk
Oh, okay.
credit evaluation and all those things. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you know that.
Yeah, when you say credit papers, yes.
And the paper is not a place where you write long essays like CCP those days. If
Yeah.
they want you to write 2-3 lines, you have to give 2-3 lines. So I failed that twice and I passed the third time. Oh my
that
gosh, I was
nice.
so happy.
Congratulations. Yeah, I know it's not easy. Never easy, yeah.
Yeah, so after that I took BCP pass and then I took
OBCP,
I mean audit line, so I have to take the audit papers as well. So the one all pass lah. But this was the best. Failed 2 times, third time pass. Almost given up. Yeah, so basically we have this kind of challenging situation and then there's a happy ending. Okay, so the point here is that whether it is material life or spiritual life, like our friends shared here, life is a combination of happiness and distress. So we have distress and there is happiness. Okay, so materially we do undergo suffering. Okay, nobody can deny that nobody can deny that we have problems in life. Everybody will agree that we have problems in life. So this week we will understand the cause of this suffering, which means the material suffering, why we are suffering here, why these exams, why this breaking of the wrist, why all this happening. Okay, so the very question why this is happening is because the nature of human to ask questions. So who can tell me what are the 3 questions in the first week? First question, second question, third question. The clue will be the
Who am I?
Yes, correct. Who am I? Okay, next one. Who am I? We covered already, yeah? The spirit, soul, and matter and everything we covered previously. So we are going to cover the second question. What is the second question, Mataji? So we were just talking about this, right? And then I say we all undergo suffering, right? So that is the clue already. So what is the second question?
Why we suffer?
Exactly. Why am I suffering? So what is the third question?
Who is God?
Yes, clever. Thank you. So these are the 3 questions, 3 main questions. So we covered this in week 1. And then week 2, we want to know who am I? So we have to turn to the right sources of knowledge. So what did we do in week 2? Sources of knowledge. What can you recall what we did in week 2? So we have questions. We need to find questions. And there were 3 ways that we can find answers. What are those called? Anything that you can recall, even if you don't get the right term. Sources of knowledge. Yeah.
Vedas, all the scriptures.
Okay, so that's part of one of the sources. So what are those? Do you remember the snake and rope story, the glass falling story?
Yeah.
One you see, perceive through your senses. One you hear. One you experiment.
Priyacha,
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes. What are those called? 3 types of
One
Pra?
was Pratyaksha.
Yes, you are getting there. Yes. What is the first one,
Anumana,
Mataji?
Sabda.
Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha. Next. Somebody say it.
Amuna what? Amu.
Anumana.
Very good. Inference, making inference. Okay, this one you view, okay, whatever we can sense, our working senses, whatever we can perceive. And from what we perceive, we make an inference, we make conclusion. Okay, we diagnose, we make our hypotheses and everything. Okay, and then we make conclusion. What is the third one? Which is the best one?
Sabda.
Yes, hearing. Okay, so basically we hear from what is written in the scriptures. Okay. Okay, why this pratyaksha and anumana is not the best way to gain knowledge? Why?
Because they are imperfect senses.
Yeah, we have 4 defects. Humans have 4 defects. Okay, 3 types of pramana: pratyaksha, anumana, sabda. Okay, pratyaksha means direct perception of senses. Anumana means speculation or inference based on observations. Sabda means hearing. Okay, so we have 4 defects here under the pratyaksha. First is imperfect senses. Next is?
Illusion.
Very good. Next is?
We tend to commit mistakes.
Yes,
and
very good.
cheat.
And cheat, yes. So you always remember the story where a person goes into the kitchen in darkness. So, and he steps on something that felt like snake. Actually, he stepped on rope. So as he was carrying the glass, he dropped it because he thought he stepped on a snake. Okay, so he dropped it. So when he drops the glass, he actually committed mistake. So when the parents come out and ask what happened, oh, nothing happened. So he tends to cheat to cover his mistake. So this is the flow that you can remember. Okay. So when we say hearing, do we hear from everything and from anyone, from everyone? Okay. So there is a difference between blind faith versus reasonable faith. So usually the faith is called reasonable when it is sensible and you are able to verify the facts. So we have this 3-pointed balance, 3 points check and balance, Guru, Sadhu and Sastra. So whatever the Guru says, it has to be supported by the Sastras and also by other sadhus. Okay, so when you read something in the scriptures, it has to be supported by the sadhu and the Guru. So one is not agreeable means that information is not to be accepted. Okay, that should be check and balance, like the legislative system that we have. Okay. Okay, so that's week 2. Okay, week 3, we went into the first question. So we want to ask question and then we know where are the right sources of knowledge. And so we started with the first question. The first question was, who am I? So what we saw the general proof of existence of soul. Okay, my watch, my body. We had these reincarnation stories. And then, so basically how we get the information, Sabda Pramana. Okay, so these are all from the Bhagavad Gita. The information taken from Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and then transmigration. Transmigration means transfer of soul from one body to other. So all this we covered in week 3 under question, who am I? So now we are going to the second question, why am I suffering? Okay, so we want to know what can actually give you happiness. Can somebody tell me to you what gives you happiness? What is happiness to you? For some people, money is happiness. Money brings happiness. Anybody has a different view? What is happiness? Children passing exams, that's happiness? How about you?
Yes.
Tamari Mataji?
Good health.
Yes. Good health.
Wow.
So health is
With
well.
family.
Who else? What else? Some say money, some say health.
Freedom.
Freedom, very good.
Yeah.
What else? Peace. Yes. When you have peace, you feel you are happy. What else? Any more?
Success.
Success. Okay. Right. So we always have this kind of benchmarks. When I achieve this, then I'm going to be happy. When I achieve that, then I'm going to be happy. I remember when I first started working, my initial salary was 2,200. And then I thought, once I get 2,500, I think I'm settled. I'm satisfied. I'm happy. But once you get 2,500, you want to get 3,000. And then when you get 3,000, you want to get 3,500. So like this, we always raise our bar to be happy. So our benchmark always changes. Okay, it may give us a happiness to a certain extent. Okay, so that one we call momentary happiness. But are we eternally happy? Okay, if we say money brings happiness, then why the most healthy and the most wealthy people are not happy? Why they are committing suicides? Why their marriage life is broken? Recently, I don't know if you all know about this guy, Vishen Lakhiani. He gives this very mind power kind of talks. He talks a lot. Then after some time, I realized that he actually divorced his wife. Then I was thinking, okay, he's a person who gives a lot of advices to people, but his own marriage life is not sustainable. Of course, they always try to say that it's good for both sides. So I feel like the very rich people, the very healthy people are not eternally happy. Okay, so that is the nature of material world. Okay, for some people, 100 ringgit is enough. For another person, even 1 million also is not enough. Okay, so for some people, 2,200 is big, but probably for me at that time, oh, it's so small. So it's very relative. Okay, so what can be happiness for one person may not bring happiness to another person. Okay, so let's see here. Can actually money bring complete happiness? What can you see here on the page next? On the left side, there's a dog with a plate of meal, and there's a rich man next to the dog with a meal as well. So basically, they're eating the same kind of food. What can you decipher from here? Anyone? Let's try luck. Why you think this dog and the boss is sitting there?
I don't think so. The dog enjoy the food.
You know what? Actually, Mataji, this guy is so rich that he has fear that he will be poisoned, and therefore his food, before he consumes, he let his dog eat first. If the dog has no any problem, then he will eat. So his life is like that. Okay, so the VIPs, they eat food only after it is tested on pet animals. And then you see this picture on the right here. So this guy is very rich, but is he free to move everywhere? No, he has bodyguards, so his movements have been constrained. Okay, yeah, no peace of mind. Yeah, he's always worried somebody's gonna poison me, somebody's gonna kill me. So he's not happy. He has money but no happiness. And then this guy also has money, but he can't go anywhere. So we know what happened to Lady Diana, right? She's also rich, but what happened? She died because of the paparazzis, right? So money actually not only doesn't give happiness necessarily, but it also ends somebody's life. Okay, it becomes a threat. All right, so let's move. And then we always think like, okay, I'll be happy after I join a good school. All right, I'll be happy after I complete my SPM. I'll be happy after I complete my STPM. Or I will be happy after I join the college or university that I like. I'll be happy after I complete my bachelor's degree. So I mean, we have all been there. I've also been here. So in my secondary, I thought my ultimate goal of life is to pass SPM. Then after I score SPM, I was like, so what's next? Like that. So, and then next we go here, and then next we go here. After that, tak cukup bachelor, want to go do master's degree. Then after that, you want to get a job, then I'll be happy. And then we want to get married. So here, like my case, like just now, I got 2,200 salary. Okay, I think 2,500 will give me happiness. After that, no, I want more, like that. Okay, and then we want to get married, the right person. Okay, and then I'll be happy. After that, I should get child, then only I'll be happy. And then, I want to buy a house, I want to build a house, then I will be happy. After that, the kids comes, and then we want to find a good school for kids. Then I will be happy. Okay, like this, it will go on and on and on and on. Okay, so do we ever lead a happy life? So we can see here three types of people here. This is a young guy. I assume that he's okay. Let's assume he's a student, all right. And this is the second guy who is a career guy, and this is an old guy when he gets old. All right. So in the initial stage, we have lots of time, but we have very little money because we have not either started working or we are unemployed yet, not haven't started career, and then we have a lot of energy. So as our career builds on, we have scarcity of time, but we have a lot of money, we are earning money, and we still have lots of energy. And then when we grow old, we have more time, we retire. When we have money, all the savings that we have done throughout our life, but have very less energy. Either you want to travel, or you want to do seva, or you want to do things that you like with the money that you have. It's hard because you have very low energy. Okay, why? In all situations here, all right, so one point is that we are always troubled by three types of miseries. Okay, so you can see here, this guy cannot have an ultimate happiness because he doesn't have money. This guy cannot have ultimate happiness because he doesn't have time. Probably he doesn't have time to build relationship with his family. All right, and this guy here, he can't find happiness because he doesn't have the energy to do things. Okay, so we can see here, nobody can have eternally happy life. Okay, so what the Shastras are saying that there are three types of miseries. Okay, Adhyatmika, Adi Bautica, Adi Daivika. So I will go through this one by one. Okay, let's go to the first one, Adhyatmika. Klesha means miseries, yeah. Adhyatmika means, if you see this word here, Atmika, it's us, our own mind and body. The miseries caused by one's own mind and body. Okay, sometimes we just like to put a lot of things on our head, and then we like to worry. So this is Adhyatmika. Okay, this is suffering caused by our own self. Okay, so somehow suddenly we think so much, overthinking, that we get headache, and then we overreact to things, we get headache. Okay, instead of responding, we react, so that gives us headache, BP, hypertension, depression. So these are all, nobody is causing us. Okay, nobody is forcing it on us, but we are finding it ourselves. Sendiri cari masalah. Okay, what are other ways? What are other ways that we can inflict miseries on ourselves, like too much eating, or we have bad habits, and then it will lead into indigestion, too much eating. Okay, or too much sleeping. What will cause? What will cause you? If sometimes you oversleep, right? Then you feel so lethargic that you want to sleep again. So like that, you will not feel energized. All right, oversleeping. And then people who drink, right? Mataji, while I'm talking, you can still put your things in the chat box. I can just pick it up from there. Okay, no problem. Because I just have to run. But if you put in the chat, then I'll just pick it up. But we are human, Mataji. So what's the point, Mataji? Yeah, it's very natural, right? And then people who drink, they get hangover the next day. So while drinking, everything is so heavenly. The next day, sakit, right? And then due to our own carelessness, we can meet accidents. So these are all things that inflicting on us. And because of our own carelessness, not only we cause miseries to ourselves, we are also harming others. So this is Adhyatmika. Let's see what the statistics shows. Body and mind give rise to innumerable problems. In year 2000, in America, 19 million youths were suffering from mental illness. Every day, 1,200 youths were attempting to commit suicide, and 1/10 of them were successful. Okay, so apart from murder and killing, right, people commit suicide. Why? Because they want to end the pain, right? They don't want to end their life, but they want to end the pain, so they commit suicide. So all these are miseries inflicting upon our own selves. Okay. Next is Adi Bautica. So remember, this is Adhyatmika, miseries caused by one's own mind and body. Adi Bautica, miseries caused by other living entities. other living entities. Okay, let's see. What is this picture showing? Oh, stress by bosses and colleagues. Okay, very relatable, right? Work, like for me, I used to have so much of stress due to babysitter. I have to change overnight. I have to change. Even if my whole day has been super smooth, at the end there's some kind of stress the babysitter will give. I feel like, oh my god, why I cannot have one full happy day? Okay, and there can be stress given by neighbors. I mean, not in my life, but I'm just generally saying miseries caused by other living entities like spouses, friends, okay, acquaintances. So these are all miseries caused by other living entities. Okay, what can you see on the second one? What is the living entity that's torturing us now? Yeah, that's right, Mataji. COVID. All right. So, apart from this COVID directly impacting our life, we are also impacted by the restrictions the government is imposing on us. So much of restrictions. Okay. So, other than that, living entities, other living entities causing problem to us is like dog bites. Okay. Or when other people are careless, then we are involved in car accidents, so we are suffering for that. And then even the insects, mosquitoes, these are all miseries caused by other living entities. So you can see in our entire life, you will see the miseries can be largely categorized into these three. One is we causing ourselves. Second is caused by other living entities. Let's see the third one. All right. What do you think the third one will be? Oh, okay, there's explanation here. Even if one's body, mind are healthy, other living being like enemy, boss, colleague, relative, family member, terrorist, bed bug, mosquito, etc. is sure to bring some misery. Like just now we were discussing that even though we wear masks and we follow all the SOPs, but other people don't, then we become victimized. So we become mangsa keadaan. Okay, let's see the third one. Why is not moving? Okay. Natural disasters, correct, Mataji. So the third one is natural disasters. One, miseries caused by ourselves, our mind and body. Second, caused by other living entities. So you try to remember this, okay? And then the third is caused by nature. So what you can see here, you can see tsunami, you can see earthquake. So in December 2004, tsunami killed about 150,000 people in a day and left millions homeless in 9 countries. And other disasters like forest fires, cyclones, earthquakes. In Malaysia, we have flood. Yeah, so what else? So these are generally the natural disasters that can affect us, bring miseries to us. Okay, so why all these are happening? Why we can't escape from any of these, all of this? Why? Can anybody share with us why this is happening? Everyone is suffering either because of one or two or all the three cause of sufferings. Why do you think this is happening to us? Why me? Sometimes we ask, right? Why me? Why God choose me? Anybody would like to share? So for okay, let me see.
Karma.
Yes, that's right. Karmic reactions. Okay, when we want to stop this suffering, other suffering come about. Okay, so it's just the different frequency and intensity, but the sufferings are always there. Okay, so how do we find a stop to this, a solution? So we shall turn to the right source of knowledge. Okay, so so we learn about 3 sources of knowledge. So if we want to find answer to this question, where do we turn to? What is the best source of knowledge? What is the best source? Okay, the source of knowledge, Mataji, you remember the Pratyaksha, Anumana and Sabda, that 3. We want to fall back to one of these. Yes, Sabda. So what we learn in level 1, level 2. So we are going to fall back to that. Okay, so we are going to fall back to the Sabda from the Bhagavad Gita. So in 8.15, Krishna says, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion, never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So Krishna gives a solution here. Okay, you don't want sufferings. The solution is that you come back to me. When you come back to me, you will not come back to this material world. And when you don't come back to this material world, you don't have the sufferings anymore. So this is the solution. Okay, so a general fact is, when you go to Himalaya, you don't have to search for the snow, because hima means snow, alaya means temple or place. So it is a place of snow. So when you go to Himalaya, you don't have to put in extra endeavor to search for snow, because that is the nature of Himalaya, that you will find snow everywhere. So similarly, when you come to this material world is naturally filled with miseries. You don't have to put extra effort to search where is misery, where is suffering. You don't have to do that. All right, because this material world is called dukkha alaya. Dukkha means distress. Alaya means place. So this material world is a place of miseries. So no matter what you do, what kind of arrangement you do want to escape, dukkhalaya, that is the nature. The nature of scorpion is to sting. All right, so that is the nature of this material world. It will sting us with dukkha. Dukkha means sadness. Okay, so Lord Krishna is saying, once you return to me, you will not return to material world, which is the place of miseries. Okay, so basically, as long as we are here, somehow or other, we will face disturbance from that Adi Atmika, Adi Bautica, Adi Atmika. Okay, I forgot already. Anybody can remember? Adi Daivika, Adi Atmika, Adi Bautica, Adi Daivika. So to make it very simple, miseries caused by ourselves, misery caused by other living entities, miseries caused by nature. So you remember this. Huh? Yes. Okay, Mataji. All right. Okay, so we are clear on this. Let's go here. Can anybody remember what is this? This is the tree, that's the Bali inverted tree. So usually the tree in our material world, the branches and leaves are up, the roots will be down. So what is this about here? So this picture is actually showing that in actual, the source of happiness is at the root, at the top. If you tabalikan the tree, the source of everything is from Krishna. He is the root. So as you go down, in the beginning of the root, you have all the elevated beings. And as you go down, the activities become more material. And then you go down further, the beings are on lower stage of like animals, like that. Okay, so this will appear in verse 15.6. That supreme abode of mind is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. So at the top here, if you can see at the root of the tree, we have Lord Brahma here. He is the creator of the material world. And who created Lord Brahma is the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna resides in spiritual world. So Krishna is saying, why I'm saying that after you come to me, you will not go back to the material world is because when you come to my world, my spiritual world, where it is not illuminated by sun or moon or fire or electricity, and when you come here, that is eternal happiness that you will not want to come back to the material world. So this is why Krishna said, come back to me and you will not come back down. Okay, so once you attain Krishna, you will not come back down. And where is the spiritual world? Is here. It is depicted by this inverted tree. Okay, all right. So that is this one place. Krishna is saying that is one place without miseries, place free of miseries. If you go there, you will not return to the material world. Okay, so generally when we speak about spiritual world, it means eternal happiness, okay, eternal and blissful. On the contrary, material world is temporary. The happiness is temporary, the material world is temporary, and it's filled with miseries. Okay, here all are temporary and then you have miseries. Here, the spiritual world is eternal and is always blissful. Okay, so this one we have gone through already. Okay, so we have problems. These problems also we can dissect into two types of problems. Okay, so before that, what are problems? Problems are something that which we don't want, but we get it. All right, and problem is also when we want something, but we don't get it. Okay, this is like the Rajini line, right? So what you want, you don't get. What you don't want, that's what you get. Okay, so these are problems. These are problems in everybody's life. Okay, generally, your problems are here only, right? Okay, so there are two types of problem. One is relative problem and another one is real problem. Relative problem means what can be a problem for you may not be a problem for me. Okay, like probably you are not able to take spicy food, but I like spicy food, so it's not a problem for me. For you, 100 ringgit is enough, but for me, 100 ringgit is not enough. So that problem is relative. Okay, the problem is only to us, but not to others, and only happens today. Probably tomorrow is solved already. Okay, and then some problem that I can avoid. Probably you cannot avoid, but I can avoid, or some problem that I cannot avoid, but you can avoid. So that way we will think, oh, that is not my problem. You know, that's why we say that, right? Because it's relative. Okay, it's not applicable for everybody. Okay, so the next kind of problem is real problem. Real problem means it's a problem for everybody, like COVID. COVID is a problem for everybody. Okay, and this real problem is something that nobody wants it. At the same time, nobody can avoid it. So there are two types of problems, okay? Relative problem and real problem. Okay, let's try to categorize this, whether it's a relative problem or real problem. How about exams? Is it relative or real?
Relative, maybe?
Relative. Some people may have exams, some people may not have exams, all right? Terrorism. How about terrorism?
Real, I think.
Okay, but do we have terrorism in Malaysia? Are we suffering due to terrorism?
No,
Yeah,
no.
so is it real or relative in that sense?
Relative.
Okay, corruption.
Real.
Do we have countries that have no corruptions? Do we?
No.
We do, right? I think we.
You
Wait,
have.
what happened this? Wait, okay. Relative. Corruption is also relative. Some department may have corruption. Some may not have corruption. How about earthquake? Earthquake.
Also relative.
Relative, right? Okay. Not all countries are affected by it. Disease.
Real.
Real. That's right. Nobody can escape disease. Oh, so we have one here. One real problem here. Okay. Old age.
Also real.
Very good. Old age.
Bad.
Death.
Bad.
Is it
Also
real or relative?
very, very real.
Very real. Very real, yes. How about stress? How about stress?
Mm,
How about
can be real.
relative? Relative. Yes, stress is relative. Some people may not have stress.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people have stress. Some people may not have stress. Anxiety. Similar to stress.
Stress.
Unemployment.
Also
Relative, right? Yeah, some are employed. Only some are not employed. So it's relative. Pollution.
relative.
Relative. Okay, some place are I think the place where they have very low level of pollution is Bhutan. I think Bhutan, very like 0 point something percentage, very low.
Yeah.
The carbon or something like that, Mataji. Yeah, very
Yeah.
low. Yeah, Bhutan. All right. So we have identified some are. So what we have identified so far, we have identified disease, old age, death. Actually, there's one more which is not listed here. Who can tell? There's another real problem. We have death here. So before death, what we take?
Birth.
Yes. So birth, death, old age, disease. So no matter how healthy we are, no matter how much wealth we have, we always go through these four kinds of problems. Okay, so we have three causes of miseries and we have four kinds of problems. Okay, so remember, huh? Okay, birth, death, old age, disease, illness. That's right. All other problems are relative. It may be a problem to me, but it not may be a problem to you. Okay, relative problem is another way is something that can be avoided. Okay, if you have stress, then you have stress management. If you have anger, then you have anger management. You have unemployment, then you can go for training and stuff like that, and then you can get recruited. So you can avoid all these problems. But real problem is something that you cannot avoid. Okay, you can buy time, but you cannot entirely avoid it. Okay, so do you have any other problem that you think it should be real, but it's not listed here? We can try to address or verify or see how is it. So far, I couldn't find any other problems. Everything else can be manageable. That's what I think. So if you think of something, you can always share. All right. Okay, so let's start with birth. So birth, you may ask, birth is a wonderful thing. Everybody rejoices when somebody is born. Everybody rejoices at the creation of another life. Okay, so we may think how birth is a problem. Okay, everybody wishes happy birthday. Everybody becomes happy on birth. Okay, but for that particular living entity, before it comes out from the mother's womb, that birth is actually an extremely painful experience for the living entity. In Bhagavatam, okay, generally also we know that for 9 months, the fetus is so cramped up in such a small room, okay, in the darkness of the womb. Okay, it suffers severely. Okay, in Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that the baby, when the skin is not formed yet, it's scorched by the mother's gastric fire. Okay, and then it's also always jolted by sudden movements. And then there's always a constant pressure from being cramped up in a small sack, okay, surrounded in the womb. Okay, so this tight sack, right, it forces the child back and forth and to arch like an arrow. So all this movement is caused to this baby, the fetus in the womb. Okay, and then it is also mentioned that the hungry worms feed on this baby, on the fetus. Okay, and this one also a torment for the baby. And then the child also passes stool and urine in the same sack. So if you look at the information given in Bhagavatam, the fetus actually goes through a lot of miseries before they come out. And it is also said that there is a Jantu prayer. The baby will make a prayer. Oh, this place is so full of miseries. Oh Lord, please let me remember you. I don't want to take this birth again. But the moment the baby is born, it forgets everything. It is being put in forgetfulness. It forgets everything. So life goes back again, cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. Okay, it is also traumatic and stressful for the baby. Okay, next is disease. Okay, generally this one need no explanation. So we have temperatures and flu and everything. So even a slightest sickness can be very annoying for us. So disease, nobody can escape disease. Okay, you can manage, but you cannot entirely avoid it. Old age also, you can buy time, eat collagen and everything. You look good, but eventually everything will wear off. Okay, old age, cannot avoid. Finally, death. All right, this one everybody will agree that nobody wants death. Okay, so in the Garuda Purana, it is mentioned that death is extremely painful. Okay, it is mentioned that, can you see the scorpion here? A person in the dying deathbed will feel pain like he is being stung by 40,000 scorpions biting simultaneously. So that kind of pain that a person goes through. Okay, so the soul which is habituating the body, he is forced out of the body through this kind of process. Okay, so you can see how even a small creature, they actually display display their abilities, defense mode, and everything to escape death when their lives are threatened. So basically, all living entities, they try to avoid this. Okay, anyways, whatever it is, death is inevitable. Okay, it will come to us one day. It is fearsome and it is painful. Okay, and the next question will be, what is our destination? Where will we go? What happens when a person commits suicide? Okay, just for additional info, a person who commits suicide before his actual time comes, because he's forcing himself, right? He will not get a gross body. Okay, you know, the soul is covered by 3 layers of subtle body, and then only it covered by gross body that we can touch. Okay, so the soul with the subtle body will be hanging around by the waiting for the time that it will be given a gross body. So this is the spirits and ghosts around us, because they are waiting for their time. It's not their time. Okay, so they died prematurely. Okay, and he has to suffer his remaining karmic reactions until he get the gross body. Okay, so can anybody escape this? Who is this guy? Who's this guy?
Muhammad Ali, is it?
Yes, Muhammad Ali. Let's see what he's going to say.
I can drown a drink of water and kill a dead tree. Wait till you see Muhammad Ali.
Boxing legend Muhammad Ali has died. The 74-year-old had been increasingly frail after being hospitalized several times, most recently for respiratory issues. His health issues were complicated by the Parkinson's disease he suffered for the past 3 decades. The former heavyweight champion was at one point the most recognizable person in the world, known for his bold proclamations.
Never talk about who's going to stop me. Well, ain't nobody going to stop me. Not a heavyweight in the world fast enough to stop me.
Ali was born Cassius Clay and rose to fame after winning an Olympic gold medal in 1960 as a light heavyweight. By 1964, he was crowned heavyweight champion of the world after defeating Sonny Liston. It was the same year he changed his name to Muhammad Ali after embracing Islam.
Who you want me to fight? Who do the press want me to fight? Who do you think you should fight? The best man. Who is the best man? Who do you think? I don't know. I have to leave it to you. Find him.
Ali was also a social activist, refusing induction into the armed services based on his religious beliefs, taking a stance against the Vietnam War. Ali suffered career setbacks after being convicted of draft evasion in 1967. He was suspended from boxing and stripped of his titles, returning to the ring in 1970. A year later, he suffered a bruising 15-round loss to then-champion Joe Frazier in a bout that had been billed the fight of the century.
I predict the fight wouldn't go the distance. Oh, it won't go the distance. Stop me, you!
But Ali bounced back and won in a rematch against Smokin' Joe in 1974. He regained his title that same year in the legendary Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire against George Foreman. His final fight against Trevor Berbick in 1981 would be the last time the legendary icon would take to the ring before being diagnosed with Parkinson's in 1984. Post-boxing, Ali led a quiet life away from the limelight for the most part. But in 1996, he would bring spectators to their feet as he lit the Olympic torch in Atlanta with his hands shaking from Parkinson's. Ali spent the later part of his life continuing to raise money and awareness for various charitable causes, including Parkinson's.
He's handled it like a champ. He's fought it like any other opponent he's had, raised a lot of money for research and awareness, and has really enhanced the Parkinson's community in his way. So just be happy for him. Hana said, my dad said, I've lived the life of 100 men.
And his courageous spirit never forgotten. Bonnie Ghosh, Associated Press, New York.
Okay, just 1 second, Namapajis. Okay, so we can see that he's a champion. Okay, but what happens is that even he cannot escape disease and death. All right, there's one part he asked, tell me who is the strongest, I can fight him. All right, he was the strongest person at one time, but at the end, he couldn't even lift a glass. That's how we put it. You know, Parkinson disease means you lose the control on your motor skills, right? your movements, right? So it becomes uncontrollable. So even he has succumbs to disease and eventually death. So in reality, he couldn't escape disease or death. Okay, so with these four real problems, okay, we have these threefold miseries. Okay, and then people think that, okay, this problem of birth, old age, disease, and death come only once in a while. Okay, let's just ignore them and enjoy life for the remaining time. But apart from that four problems, that every moment until from your birth till you die, you are going through the threefold miseries. Okay, at least one or two or all. Okay, so you have four types of problems and threefold miseries. Okay, four means birth, death, old age, and disease. Threefold miseries means miseries caused by our own mind and body, miseries caused by other living entities, miseries caused by natural disasters. Okay. Okay, so in Bhagavad Gita 8.16, it is mentioned this. Can you see this picture here? This is birth, a person who is giving birth to a baby. And this is a disease, a person is giving medicine to this person. And this is old age, okay? And this is death, somebody has died and everybody is crying here. All right, so let's see where in this material world, which corner can you actually escape these four problems? Krishna says, from the highest planet means Satyaloka. Satyaloka means is Lord Brahma's planet. That is the highest. Okay, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, we have the Patala, Sutala, all that lower planets. All are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. Okay, in heavenly planets, in higher planets, you may not have disease and you don't get old age, but eventually death comes after you exhaust all your pious credit which you have accumulated in present lives. It will be exhausted, you will die, and you will come back to earth. Okay, so this is how it works. That's why Krishna says, everywhere repeated birth and death take place. Again, Krishna says, but one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So again, he's promising, when you come back to me, you will not come back to the material world. Okay, he's already saying, you can go to heavenly planets, you can go to Indra Loka, you can go to that Loka, this Loka, that Loka, but eventually you'll die and you'll come back. So this is the Sabda Brahman that we get from Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Now, who can understand the real problems? Obviously, humans, right? Animals don't. Okay, they can understand to a certain extent. They try to avoid, like I mentioned earlier, when they know they are being threatened, they will put up some defense. They have some defense mechanisms to escape that. Okay, but higher than that, the humans can understand the problem. Why we have this problem? Only humans can understand. Because only humans can question. And when they question, then we can work out solutions for that. Okay, so that's why we are here. We know what are the problems that we're going through, and we want to find solutions for the problem. Okay, so why? Okay, why? Because of the ability that we can question. So we are leveraging on that. Okay, let's look at this goat outside the slaughterhouse. He is seeing that something is going to happen to him, and we have seen a lot of documentaries and pictures where they do feel fear. When they know their friends are being slaughtered, they will have tears in their eyes. And when the calf is taken away, the cow is taken, going into a slaughterhouse, they also have tears in their eyes. Why? They do have emotions, and they do feel they do have the stress. Some stress will happen to them when they are about to get slaughtered. Okay, and it is mentioned that when they have stress, some toxins will be released at that point of time. So look at this guy, poor guy, he's looking, oh my God, when will be my turn? So they do feel something is not right. They do feel, all right? Not to the extent that how humans will feel, but they do feel, right? It's undeniable. Okay. So we will just skip that story. So generally life is a combination of happiness and sadness. Okay, so I hope you all can recall the threefold of miseries and the four real problems. Okay, so again, this is a comparison between spiritual world and material world. The happiness is real in spiritual world. In material world, when do you find happiness? When there is absence of suffering. When you do not have a suffering, okay, today I didn't have this pain, today I didn't have this problem, therefore I consider myself happy. But in spiritual, the bliss is ever existing. There is no suffering. It's anxiety free. Let's look at happiness in the material world. The happiness in the material world, like the guy here, who can decipher what is happening here? He's being dunked, and then he comes up for a brief moment, and then he goes back again. So basically for him, the happiness is when he comes up for a few moments, and then he feels like relief, and then goes back again. Okay? And then he comes up, so that for him, that 1 or 2 seconds is happiness for him. So this is how life is in material world. Okay? For a brief momentary moment, we feel happy, and then we go back to suffering again. So like that, it's on and off. Okay, after happiness, distress, after distress, happiness. Like a season, winter and summer season, it comes and goes. Like two sides of the coin. You cannot accept a coin with just one side. I cannot take only one side of the coin. I only want happiness. But it's a package. You have to take both sides. Okay. But happiness in the spiritual world is this: the absence of sadness. Okay. The absence of sadness is in material world, but in spiritual world, the happiness is eternal. Why we cannot live in the water? That is not our habitat. All right, and fish cannot live on the land because this is not a place of this is not the home. So as long as we are not in our original home, we will not find the ultimate happiness. Okay, just like the fish belongs in the water and it finds happiness there. So for us, we have come from the spiritual world. So until we go back home, we will never find eternal happiness here. So we always, when we go out of our house, whether we have a traveling or work engagements, whatever, when we come back home, we feel like sweet home, sweet home. Okay, so similarly, we are in this material world and we want to go back home. And only when we go back home, we will feel the happiness. Okay, so remember, material world is Dukkhalayam. Material world is Dukkhalayam, Ashasvatam, place of miseries. Okay, so can somebody read for us Srimad Bhagavatam 2.2.6? Anyone? Mataji, is anybody there? Indira Mataji? Okay, Prema Babu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay.
Prema Mataji can do. I'm okay.
No, it's okay. You can do. Carry on.
Indira Mataji can.
Thus being fixed, one must render service unto the super soul situated in one's own heart by his omnipotency, because he is the almighty personality of Godhead, eternal and unlimited. He is the ultimate goal of life, and by worshipping him, one can end the cause of the conditioned state of existence. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam.
All right, thank you, Mataji. So this existence has problems. While we are here, we will experience this. Okay, if you want to come out of this, then we need to render service to Krishna. The very simple service is chanting. It's a service that everyone can do, and this can end the cause of the conditioned state of existence. These are all conditioned: birth, death, old age, disease. These are all conditioned. Okay, can we have somebody read this one? Nectar of Holy Name. This is from Bhagavatam as well.
Yeah, I shall read.
Can, Mataji.
In the present age of Kali, there will eventually be a great scarcity of water for the general populace due to ignorance, and the scarcity of yajnic ingredients will neglect to perform yajnas. Srimad Bhagavatam therefore advises Yajnai Sankirtana Prayai Yajanti Hi Sumet Dasha. After all, yajna is meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this age of Kali, there is great scarcity of and ignorance. Nonetheless, everyone can perform Sankirtana Yajna. Every family in every society can conduct Sankirtana Yajna at least every evening. In this way, there will be no disturbance of or scarcity of rain. It is essential for the people in this age to perform the Sankirtana Yajna in order to be materially happy and to advance spiritually.
Okay, thank you,
Yes,
Ma'am.
Madam.
So we know that we must do yagya, sacrifice to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But as mentioned here in the first couple of lines here, it says that because of the general populace, we have scarcity of water. Okay, we always have water shortage, and then we have scarcity of pure ingredients to be used in yagya, like milk or grains or ghee. Everything is contaminated. So to do a successful yagya, for the yagya to be successful, you need to have highly qualified brahmanas, you need to have highly pure ingredients. So in this current age, we are not able to get them. We do not have access. Okay, whether it's access or the purchasing ability, we may not have. Maybe it's not affordable for everybody, but it is recommended that everybody can do Sankirtana Yagya in their own home, and you basically do not need anything to do it except your voice. Okay, so this way there will be no disturbance or scarcity of rain. This is what has been promised in Bhagavatam. Okay, so this is not only going to give us spiritual happiness, if you can see the last line, in order to be materially happy and to advance spiritually, is 2 in 1. Okay, 2 stones at two with a stone, is it? Yeah, so like that. So you don't have to wait to die and go back to spiritual world to feel the happiness. You can also feel the happiness here. Okay, so when the Supreme Personality is satisfied, then we will be relieved of all the sufferings. Okay, the easiest way to please the Supreme Lord will be the Sankirtan Yagya. Okay, you don't have to have fire or call the pandits and do all these things. So the last part of the level 3 here is about sharing what you have learned. We can have somebody to read for us, please. We haven't heard from who? Tamare Mataji.
Okay. Sharing is carrying a pure devotee of Lord like Brahma and person in discipline succession are always unhappy to see the perspective of the conditioned soul who are suffering the onslaught of threefold misery, which pertain to body and mind, to the disturbance of material nature and to many other such material disadvantages. Not knowing adequate measure for relieving such difficulties, suffering persons sometimes post themselves as a leader of people, and unfortunate followers are put into further disadvantages under so-called leadership. This is like a blind man leading another blind man to fall into a ditch. Therefore, unless the devotee of the Lord take pity on them and teach them the right path, their lives are hopeless failures. The devotee of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility to rising the full materialistically sense enjoyer are the confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma.
Okay, so Lord Brahma has been regarded as a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. And all the acharyas in the discipline sections, they are very compassionate. Okay, they always feel unhappy to see how the conditioned souls are suffering in this material world. They know they are suffering due to the threefold miseries pertaining to the body and mind, to the disturbance of the material nature, and so many other material disadvantages. So what the general human beings will do is, to overcome this problem, they will make lots of arrangements. And when they make a lot of arrangements, they try to have a lot of followers. But when they are not having proper knowledge, so with what they're going to guide their followers with? All right, so that's why it is mentioned here. This is like a blind man leading another blind man. Okay, so unless the people who have learned this knowledge like you all, okay, if you can't, if you don't go out and share, then it's very difficult to make changes in the community. Okay, so and when somebody shares this knowledge to others, they are as confidential as Lord Brahma to Lord Krishna, because Lord Brahma is very confidential to Lord Krishna. He's a pure devotee. So it is promised here that when you share this information to others, then you will be like Lord Brahma, like how Lord Brahma is to Lord Krishna. Okay, so we usually want to take care of our loved ones. We are providing lots of material facilities for them, but we also want to provide them with the spiritual facilities. Okay, so by doing this, you will be confidential to the Lord. The Lord will be pleased with you. Okay, so we always want to share what we have learned. Okay, I think that's one video for this week. Why there is suffering in this world? Oh, wait. Is it coming? Okay, Radhanath Maharaj. Huh?
According to the Bhagavad Gita, as well as according to the teachings of Lord Buddha, the source of suffering is that the body is temporary, life is temporary. Therefore, everything is subjected to birth, ultimately old age, disease, and death. And the Vedas explain there are three types of sufferings. Adhyatmaka, the sufferings of one's own body and mind. Bautica, the suffering due to other living beings. And Adidaivaka, the sufferings due to natural circumstances, like heat or cold, or earthquakes. And these sufferings are always there, potentially, at any moment, to this physical body. The soul, Gita explains, Najayate mriyate va kadachit, that the source of life within the body, the source of consciousness, is the Atma, or the soul. And that soul is transcendental. In Sanskrit, Satchit Ananda. The soul is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. And that's who we are. The soul is like the driver of the car, and the body is like the car. We're seeing through our eyes, hearing through our ears, smelling through our nose, tasting through our tongue, touching through our skin, thinking through our brain, loving through our heart. But who are we? Are we a brain or a heart or an eye or an ear? We are the witness. We are the soul. That is who we are. And that soul is by nature full of love, full of fulfillment. But when that soul identifies itself with the body, thinking that this is me, and becomes completely immersed in that state, then the soul has to identify with all of the vulnerabilities and frailties of this body. And that is the source of all suffering. But in many ways, the sufferings in this world are blessings because they help us to take very seriously, if we make that choice, to really understand what is deeper, what is higher than all these temporary pleasures and pains, honor and dishonor, happiness and distress, health and disease, success and failure, birth and death. The nature of the world around us, it's constituted on the basis of dualities. One brings pleasure, one brings pain. And to the degree we're attached to something that gives us pleasure, to that same degree we suffer when it's lost. And ultimately, because everything is under the consumption of time, everything will be lost. So going through these experiences, thoughtful people contemplate, is there something higher? Is there something deeper? Is there something more to life than this? And all the great saintly teachers and all the great saintly scriptures, they are leading us in that direction, that there is something more. This world is just a temporary place, but this world can be a launching pad to help us to realize the inner treasures within our own heart. And it's usually the sufferings of this world that serve as an impetus for us to not just theoretically try to understand what is beyond, but to feel the urgent need to do something about it, to realize and experience the essence of the self. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells, Dukkalayam ashashvatam, that the nature of this world, when we are in ignorance of our true self, is suffering. Potentially, there can be suffering at any moment, whoever we are. However wealthy, however educated, however powerful, disease, some other person, some natural circumstance could create a disaster, create a tragedy. So whatever happiness anybody has in this world, it's so tottering. It's like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. At any moment it could slip away. So where is permanent happiness? Where is freedom from suffering? It's only on the spiritual platform. And that's what all the great sages have come to tell us. In the Bible it is said that make your treasure not in this world, but make your treasure in the kingdom of God. Because in this world your treasure will be stolen by thieves, or rusted by the elements, or eaten by moths. But if you make your treasure in the kingdom of God, it is perfect and infallible. And then Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within. And similarly, Lord Krishna tells in the Gita that one should find pleasure within. One should find satisfaction within. One should be enlightened and illuminated from within. That is a person of substantial quality life and real intelligence. We should seek that eternal reality beyond all the sufferings of this world and find real happiness.
Okay, so we must build treasure in the kingdom of God. Okay, so that's the end of week 4. I don't think we can finish within less than 20 minutes. So I guess we have to postpone our week 5. Let me see. Let me just... This is also about happiness and all. Okay, never mind, Matajis. What I will do is for our week 6, I will bring in week 5. Okay, week 6 is not much of new things. It's about Prabhupada, I think about Lord Mahaprabhu, which we already covered in the past. So I will try to combine these lessons and we will cover in one class. Okay, otherwise we will finish very late. So I hope that's okay, and we hope to have a better turnout the next round.
Yeah.
I hope by that time all the Deepavali fever all subside. Okay, Mataji. So is that all right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Because I think we started late, so I couldn't finish.
Yeah.
I think
Mataji, can you please go back to the slide where you were explaining on the goat?
good. Okay. Let me see that.
Who understands problems? The humans.
Okay, hang on. This one?
Who understands the problems?
This one?
Yeah, who understands the real problems, animals. So this one you covered by saying humans. And then the next question was why. Next slide, please. Why?
Why?
And
Because
you
we can question. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you associate the goats knowing about the slaughtering time with this?
So generally, the animals also can, to a certain extent, understand some problem is coming to them. For example, what this goat is seeing, his friend is being slaughtered. So he can understand to a certain extent, only to a certain extent. But humans can understand more because we ask question after question after question. So that way, we can find solution. We can work out on solution to end the suffering, the problems.
Thank you, Mataji.
Is that right?
Yes. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Okay, the story, okay, somebody's asking about the story. Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah, it's okay, let me see. Okay, so this is a story that happened in Mahabharata, okay, when the Pandavas were exiled, okay, and at one time, the Pandavas went one by one to a nearby lake to get water, okay, so hold on. So when they went to take the water, one by one went, but they did not return. Okay, so when they did not return, one person did not return, and then the next brother went. And then when he didn't return, the next brother went. So finally, Yudhishthira went after all his other 4 brothers went. So when he went there, he saw, can you see this picture here? All his 4 brothers here, they have collapsed at the lake there, okay, at the banks. So he was stunned seeing these dead brothers lying by the side of the lake. Okay, so what happened was that when the brothers went there one by one, so there was a personality called Yaksha. So the Yaksha said, you can take the water provided that you answer this particular question. Okay, so I think they couldn't answer, so they consumed the water and became poisonous and they collapsed. Okay, now when Yudhishthira went, this Yaksha appeared again and he asked this question. So the question is, what is the most wonderful thing in the entire universe? Okay, and Yudhishthira answered. Yudhishthira got the answer. Yudhishthira answered, Ahanyahani. Okay, so this is the verse. Ahanyahani bhutani gachantiha yamalayam sesha stavaram icchanti kim ascharyam ataha param. Yudhishthira answers, hundreds of thousands of living entities meet death at every moment. But a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. So this is like a sarcasm. Yudhishthira is saying this is the most wonderful thing, that everybody is seeing some other people are dying and he thinks that death will not come upon him. Now, this is the most wonderful thing in this world. So this is the question by the Yaksha, and this is the answer by Yudhishthira. He is a very learned person. So that is the story. This is the short story. Okay. So that's it, Mataji. Is that all right? Anything else, Mataji, you all want to ask? Okay, no questions, right? Okay, Mataji. So while we are at it, Mataji, okay, today it's November 14. We have 5 more days for Damodara to end. So on this last 5 days, this last 5 days is very, very crucial for us to continue with our Damodara lamp offering. So serious devotees, they take up Bhishma Panchaka. It's a kind of fasting, and they eat only 1 or 2 items on each day, different items. So they end with that. Tomorrow is Ekadasi, and then they'll continue until the end of Damodara. Okay, so at the end of Damodara, we will be collecting the number of times you have offered ghee lamp to the Lord Damodara. Okay, so for example, if you are one person and you've been offering every morning and evening, that will be 2 per day. And then if you've been offering for 30 days, then you times that 60. So that means, for example, let's say Tamare Mataji is offering 2 every morning and evening, or let's put it morning, right? Let's her son herself 2, and then you times 30, that will be 60 offerings so far for Tamare Mataji. So like that, I will be collecting the scores individually. I will be approaching you all, or if you all can remember to submit to me the numbers, it will be easy. Because we are collecting the numbers, we have started collecting already, but I will wait until the end of the Damodara month. Okay, so please remember that. I will also put a reminder in the group, and I will contact you all also.
Mataji, can you tell them about the worldwide one, where on the 19th one we are also having you should share the link so that we also join the mass offering.
Yes, I think I shared today, right? Let me see if I have that picture. So last year also we had that. I think we had target of 5,000. We actually exceeded that. So we entered a Malaysian record. What do you call that, Mataji? Malaysian record. Malaysian records. I don't know.
Guinness Book of Records.
Yeah. So that one. So we entered that. We managed to get placed into that. So I think we are trying to break another record. Where did I put that? So anyways, I think it's on the last day. So I will definitely send reminder on that. Okay, let me try to share. Share screen. Share. Okay, this one. Can see, right, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so this one, Damodara light, 6 days to go. Okay, so it will be taking place on 19th of November, which is Friday. Why there's time all? I think because we have international congregations also. Why is mentioned Bahrain? Let me just reconfirm the time. Okay, so I will share with you all soon.
Yeah, Malaysian time I think will be given to us. I think so.
Yeah, yes. Okay, so I will come back to you all on that, Mataji. Malaysia Book of Record. Yes. Guinness is world, right? Okay.